Hello, everyone. It's Dave. Welcome to Sunday Night with Dave. Next to me is Ed Slas, and Ed's going to be our guest speaker tonight, okay?
Hello. Glad to be here.
Ed, I don't know, we've known each other for about 10 years, right? Something like that. And this past summer, Ed and I, we were sitting in the backyard and we were talking. And we were talking about life and all the positive things. I was talking about how you should look at life and your future and stuff like that. And if I can be blunt, right? I mean, out of the blue, Ed looked at me. He goes, "Well, Dave," he goes, "Do you know what it's like to know you're going to die?" And that hit me like a ton of bricks, right? Because I didn't know what to say. And that's what led up to this conversation, this meeting. I asked Ed if he would sit down and tell us about his whole process. Ed is suffering from a brain cancer, right? Mm-hmm. And he'll explain that to you. He's going to give you a little background on his whole life, and I'm gonna hand it over to Ed.
All right. Hello, everybody out there in cyberspace. So my name is Ed Slas, and to go back, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. Go White Sox. I was raised in Catholic schools. Eventually went to the University of Illinois at Circle Campus and got a dual degree in electrical engineering and computer science. I've spent my my career up until this point in that field, working at a couple of various companies. I got married coming up on 20 years ago to my lovely wife Holly, and I've got two kids, teenagers. Sarah is 16 and Anthony is 18. So that's where I come from and who I am. To give you this timeline of my diagnosis, my whole life I've up until 2010, I probably went to go see the doctor 5 times. I would say would be a good number. All the way up until college, or in college, I probably saw a doctor for the first time with some really bad flu symptoms, and then past that, it was strange little things that would happen.
Oh wait, so all the way, I didn't know that. All the way back to college, you had these.
Oh no! It had nothing to do with cancer. It's just I was healthy as a horse.
Oh, okay, okay.
Nothing wrong with me. Would go see the dentist, 3 or 4 times in my life, but not a sickly person. I don't get the colds. I don't get flu to this day.
Okay.
I don't get the colds. I don't get the flu. I don't go to the doctor because my elbow hurts. None of that business. Then in 2010, I was at work and talking with a colleague about the current projects going on in our engineering department, and very similar. How we're sitting here now, and boom, my mind goes blank, and but I still had awareness that I was hearing everything, but the conversation, what we were talking about, was gone.
I mean, like you could see everything, but everything was like blank, like there was no
the
audio.
Whole contact. No, there was audio, and I still had motor skills and all that. But what we were talking about, no idea. I knew that I was sitting in my colleague's office, but had why I was sitting there, and that it just disappeared. So I told him that I'm not feeling good. Give me a second. The first couple of times that this happened, I blamed it on breakfast.
Oh, not eating or something?
I didn't eat breakfast,
Yeah.
That must have been a bad apple I ate or something like that.
Right.
So I got up to go to the bathroom, and while I was going to the bathroom, I noticed that my left arm wouldn't work right. I was trying to go to the bathroom at a urinal, and, you know, you undo your belt, and you shouldn't even have to think about that. You've done it so many times, right?
Yeah.
And I look down, and, you know, bathroom, and my hand's over here. I think I'm undoing my belt, and my hand's off to the side over there, just hanging there.
So so you felt like your brain was telling you what to do,
Yeah, and the arm was not reacting.
not working with you. Yeah.
Again, I didn't get enough sleep last night, so it's a combination of I didn't get enough sleep and
And I didn't eat
Yeah.
properly.
So I go to my desk and put my head down on my desk, and I figure I'm just going to sit, chill out for a couple minutes. And sure enough, it went away, and I went on with my day. A couple weeks later, same thing happens, and I go to see a doctor. This is in 2010, October or so of 2010, and the doctor sends me immediately to go get an MRI. The MRI place, that was a very interesting day. I go in there, you go just like having any other x-ray or something like that. You check in, they send you in there. But then when I came out, they didn't tell me to go home. They told me to have a seat. And I'm sitting there, and this was over at Dreyer Medical Clinic, and they only had at the time one MRI.
Oh, right over here in Aurora.
Yeah, uh-huh. And I could see people going in and coming out and leaving, going in, coming out. And what the? Yeah. So about a half hour, 45 minutes goes by, and the tech comes out, and he says, why are you here? And so I explained that little conversation that we just had, and he was like, well, there's some anomalies on your scan, and you'll have to go to the emergency room. And I'm like, no, I'm going to work. I stopped on my way to work, like 7:30 in the morning or something like that. He's like, no, I can't let you leave. So we end up in the emergency room, and the emergency room couldn't do anything about it. We're sitting there for hours, and finally one of the people from the neurology department comes down. This is at Rush Copley.
Okay.
And they say that, yeah, there's nothing we could do about it right now, and this is 3 or 4 in the afternoon by now. And says we'll make an appointment with you like in 2 days, right? So you look fine. You're not having any problems right now, and so that was probably on a Tuesday. By Thursday, I was on the operating table getting brain surgery to remove a tumor.
What kind of cancer? What's the name of?
So the type of cancer I have is called an ogliodendroglioma. It's about 450 letters long.
Okay.
And so that was all back in 2010. So I had the surgery. They removed a section of the tumor that was about the size of my thumb.
Ooh.
And but the rest of the tumor they didn't want to / couldn't take out. The whole tumor in my head is about the size of my fist. It's not solid. It's not like a extra growth, like someone shoved a tennis ball in your head. It's infiltrating like mold.
It's going deeper.
It grows into the existing brain tissue. It's not like something extra. It like grows into the spaces between all the cells in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so that you can't just operate and take it out.
Wow.
They could operate and take it out, but then they make you a vegetable. Who wants that, right?
Right.
I don't like vegetables. Yeah. So and then you go into chemo from there, and so chemo and radiation. So they did the radiation therapy on my head,
Keep talking on this.
and and then that was followed by chemotherapy for a year.
So this is still 2010?
Yeah, so that was, into, because it was late 2010, so then that went into 2011 and into 2012. So that whole time I had a little bit of time off of work during the radiation part of it.
Right.
That is very debilitating on your body. And so after the radiation was about 6 weeks long, I went back to work. No deficiencies or anything like that. From that point forward for the next couple of years, 0 symptoms, just the pain of being on chemotherapy.
It was just, so it was in remission? Or it was
Just not growing.
staying the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stable, they call it. And so I was going to get regular checkups. You get, with this condition, you get an MRI every 3 months.
Okay.
And they call them serial MRIs. So we're going along doing that. Everything's fine. And then up in 2014, the doctors had said that it's starting to grow back.
Okay.
Or grow again, and they wanted to put me on chemotherapy again. And we were going back and forth, so then at that point I went back on chemotherapy, and he said that it was going to be for 7 months. So I did the radiation, I did chemotherapy.
You do chemo
for a
for
year.
how often do you have to do that?
The chemotherapy
Monthly, weekly?
is every month. Yeah, once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah. Then after the 7th month, we go back. I'm still symptom free, and
Were you still working then? Were you still at that point?
yeah, full time at a very challenging job.
Right, because I know sometimes when we all got together, the like sound and everything affected you.
Yeah. I don't really call that a side effect or a symptom, I guess. But after the surgery and the radiation, I become overwhelmed very easily. That one of the biggest problems with going to parties and stuff like that is multiple conversations. That is, it spins my head. I can't listen to any of them. Even if we're sitting right here talking to each other and there's other people talking,
The multiple drives.
yeah. The people talking in the background, it makes my head spin, and I can't focus on anything.
Wow.
You'll see me at
Wow.
the parties. I'll go off and hang out in the other room, where it's a lot
Right.
quieter.
Right. You have. Yeah, I've noticed that. But you're.
So then he said that it was advancing, that the tumor started to grow again, and put me back on chemotherapy, and he said it was going to be for 7 months. So I went through and did all that, and then when you're on chemotherapy, you have to go see the doctor every month.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to make sure that your body's tolerating it and so forth. And at the 7th month, we thought that he was going to say, the MRI looks fine. We're going to take you off the chemotherapy and go home. No, he says that the tumor is continuing to grow, and we're going to have to put you on a more aggressive chemotherapy.
When was this last summer? Like when we talked, when you said you didn't know.
No,
Oh, we're not even there yet.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
This is back in 2014 now.
Okay.
And when you go to these appointments, when something traumatic like this happens, you have to bring a notebook to every single doctor's appointment, and highly suggested that you bring somebody else to listen and remind you of questions that you need to ask the doctor.
Wow.
Because when he drops that kind of news on you,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
you're gone. Yeah, you're gone. And so you bring a notebook, you have your questions in there, and then anything the doctor says, you you make the doctor give you time to take notes. Because they want to just keep on talking, right?
Yeah, because it's no
hold
big
on,
deal.
hold on. You write it down, you read it back to them, right? So, so then I ask him, well, what about the tumor that back from 7 months ago? That what about that one? Is that still growing? Did that grow, or are you just talking about this new one? And he says, I didn't put you on chemotherapy because of growth 7 months ago. Yes, you did. And he obviously got me confused with somebody else.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And so I started pushing the nurses there to give me documentation about the doctor's notes from that visit 7 months ago, and got stonewalled.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that landed me at Northwestern University.
Okay.
And our experience over there, because all that was at Rush University, when we went to Northwestern, hallelujah, that place is so much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they operate and the way that the people treat you there is not comparable to Rush University. So we're very happy with that. He said, yeah, there are changes we could see in the MRI, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We'll just let it slide and go back on the serial MRIs.
Okay.
So he's kind of saying that 7 months of chemotherapy that I just did was useless.
It was, okay.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
So then all that was back in 2014. Now in 2016, in the fall, about the same time of the year, it was October, and then in just this not this past, but a year ago, October, it was very clear that there was new tumors forming. I think 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, and they're like, you need to go into surgery again, and then because of where these tumors are, it's going to be there'll be side effects.
Okay.
And then, so there's going to be some detriment to my abilities, and even at that, they can't take it all out because of the infiltrating aspect of the tumor.
Yeah,
it just takes up too much area to go and scoop it all out, and then it's too close to the eloquent areas of the brain, which they termed. So that's like the areas that control your speech.
Your speech, mobility, everything.
Yeah, and
all your functions.
Then your heartbeat and lungs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can't go cutting into that, right?
Right.
So, and then what they did to mitigate that is what they call awake surgery. Yeah. So they bring you into the operating room. They put you under, cut the holes in your head, in your skull to get to the brain, and wake you up. Yep.
Oh. Sorry. I was like, oh man. Okay.
And so then they have this little electrical probe, and they sit there and probe because they don't want to touch, and that all the things that they were concerned about was the left side of my body.
Right.
My feet, my toes, my legs, my arm, the hearing in my left hand side, and my vision in my left eye. And they would probe, is this, because they need to find in the brain.
That's why they needed you awake.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you feel now? What do you feel now? Can you move your hand now? Can you move your toes now?
So they could actually touch a spot of your brain and block
Yeah.
the activity or whatever.
No, it doesn't block it. It excites it. It's
Okay.
a little. It's like you ever put a 9-volt battery.
Like a little electric charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're doing that in your brain, but then rather than you get the sensation in your tongue, you get it in your foot or leg or whatever.
Okay, and it makes it okay.
Right. So they would put the probe in there and then ask me where I feel that, and then that's how they identify what that particular part of the brain is. And if it's your leg, we're going to stay away from that. Even if we have to leave some of the tumor there,
Right.
we're going to stay away from that. And then, so when I woke up from that, my left arm wouldn't move. Well, I shouldn't say wouldn't, had very gross motion that if I told my arm to move, like this, it would just float.
Okay.
And
It's like a slow reaction time. You mean sort of like that, or?
no, it just wouldn't. Not only a slow reaction, more of very gross movement. That rather than a fine movement is being able to make circles with your hand and stuff like that. It would just. I would tell my arm to move, and it'd be like, okay.
Oh, and not.
Yeah, nothing specific. I couldn't tell it to do
nothing
anything
specific.
I could tell it to move, but that's it.
Yeah.
Went into physical therapy, again at Northwestern, Miriam Joy facilities. Yeah. And they did a great job. There's problems with my balance, problems with my left-hand foot, that it feels asleep all the time. The motor skills in my hand, at this point, I've got like 90% of it back. The one thing I don't have back is my pinky. That's pretty useless. That I can't. I could move it, but it's constantly getting caught on things.
Is it? Because it doesn't react.
Yeah. And then that's the whole. There's a huge deficiency in what's called proprioception, and that is your body's ability to recognize your limbs and where your body is located in space. So one of the very strange things that happens to me is that if I can't see my arm, it doesn't exist.
Oh, what I mean,
I don't recognize.
if you can't see it, you don't. It doesn't.
It's not mine. It's still there, but it's not mine. I've been to the grocery store, picking out apples and stuff like that, and the arm also drifts. That if I'm not telling it to do something, it will move. And so I'm
Where
sitting
you
there
going with
picking out apples. I can't see my arm right. I'm looking over here. The arm creeps into my field of vision. I think someone's grabbing me.
Oh,
I think it's
wow.
someone else's arm. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's like a permanent state. That's something the physical therapy, that part of my brain is gone.
Okay.
And just a couple other almost humorous things about it is in bed. You're rolling around in bed, right, trying to get comfortable, trying to pull the covers up. I find an arm underneath my pillow.
Your brain
Yes.
tells you that's not you?
Yep. Yeah.
Woo! Okay, now that's freaky. I mean, that's kind of freaky.
Yeah. So
Oh.
I can't find light switches with my left hand. If it's dark and I need to turn on the lights and I go to touch something, I can't identify what I'm touching. If I can't see my arm,
Okay.
it's gone, and that's more or less a permanent condition. All that said, during all that time, I went on a stronger chemotherapy that I just finished up. It was 9 months of a stronger chemotherapy, and the whole time since the second surgery, I've been on disability. That I decided not to go back to work.
Yeah.
Whether that was a decision or it was forced upon me, that's really hard to say. You know, I don't know. And we've this whole time we've been having the. Come on, Dave, pay attention.
I'm sorry. I'm doing audio checks as we talk along. I apologize, everybody. I just want to make sure you're all getting this. That's all.
So now we've been having the serial MRIs and everything looks like it's stable again.
Okay.
As we sit here, the couple of deficiencies that I noted, on top of that, there's I still have my capabilities, about me, the logic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But my endurance is zero.
Yeah.
Well, so I used to work my whole career, 30 years. I just turned 50 this last summer. When I'm still trying to keep my mind active by doing stuff on the computer. As a software engineer, there's a whole lifetime of stuff to go investigate and try out and stuff like that. So I've got a couple little projects I'm working on, but I can't do it for more than an hour a day. My brain shuts down. It's a really psychedelic feeling. We're sitting here now, and I think of it as this globe that's around your head that has everything that you know in it, and while you're operating, living, doing things, you have access to everything that you know.
Right.
And what seems to happen is it seems to close on me, and when I get into this exhausted state, and it's like I could still talk, but then if you started asking me math questions, my kids in college, the other ones in high school, and if you're to ask me a question about algebra, no, that's gone. I have to go lay down. A couple hours later, everything is okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll get better over time, but that's where I'm sitting right now.
Right now.
Yeah. So then to kind of get back, I'm sure we spent too much time talking about that. I don't know where we're at here.
Oh, we don't worry about time.
Okay.
It just runs.
Okay.
Whenever we're done, we're done.
All right. So in the last doctor's appointment, I asked about prognosis. Where am I now? When we first started back in 2010, one of the deals about brain cancer is that any type of brain cancer, there's no cure for it. There's no known causes. Very small percentage of people will survive it. But at the same point, the counterpoint to that is that how long you do survive
is an unknown too, right?
It's they have all these statistics on it from all the tests that they do, all the clinical trials and stuff like that. But they don't know.
Right.
So there's percentages, right? There's they have these charts and these life expectancy charts that they've gotten from these trials.
Right.
That we put these people on this particular type of chemotherapy. Here's the the control group that didn't get anything, and here's how long they lived on average, and then here's the group that had this chemotherapy, and here's how long they lived on average. And so back in 2010, they had said that if I didn't do anything, you're talking 3 to 5 years.
If you didn't take any treatments.
If I didn't take any
no treatment, no chemo, nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then with the treatment, it would be like 5 to 7. So that's back in 2010. right?
Okay.
Hey, it's been 7 years and I'm sitting here today, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have to take these numbers with a grain of salt. That they're averages across a great number of people. The people that that usually get brain cancer are a little bit older than I am.
Right.
It usually doesn't start until after you're 50. Most people don't get it until after they're 50.
Does it mean anything different if you're younger, or it's just another unknown?
It gives you a better chance. A better
Oh,
chance
okay.
of surviving longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you actually get a better chance.
Of surviving longer. It's,
Okay.
There's
Because you're just because the body's healthier, or
It takes your body's healthier. Your body's able to fight things off better.
Yeah.
You don't have other problems. But as my oncologist put it back then, if bar you getting hitten by a bus, this is what will take you, right?
yeah,
Yeah, you're not going to die of old age. You're not going to die of lung cancer. That this is what's going to do it. When
you have no idea.
you have no idea.
How does that? Okay, and can I? Okay, 'cause I can answer just open questions.
Uh-huh.
You're comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does that play with your head? That whole concept of like, well, I know I've got this. There's nothing I can do about it. So because I know Ed really good enough to know that his whole attitude is pretty awesome. And so how do you deal with that? Knowing. I guess knowing. I don't know how else to say it. Knowing that you get this issue and you might not live as long as others.
Right.
How does that play with your head?
In the beginning, it really, the first couple of months
Yeah.
of being diagnosed is, horribly traumatic. That, there's tears, and, across the whole family, including my sisters and cousins and,
Right.
and stuff like that. But then, I went back to work on that first 12 months and then the subsequent 7 months of chemotherapy. I was at work the whole time. I was moving on with my life,
Right.
right? And it causes you not to think about it as much. That I'm doing everything that I can, right? I'm on chemotherapy, and I did the radiation therapy. There's nothing that I could do about it, so I'm not going to sit there and fret about it.
Right. Right.
The only thing, in a paradigmatic sense, is you got to make sure that your finances are in order, right? You have to make sure that your what do they call them on the life insurance form?
Life insurance. Yeah.
Not the inheritance, but
The beneficiaries.
beneficiaries are all
Yeah.
correct and
Right.
stuff like that. So there's a lot of things to look in with that, and with something to do, there's really no problems, no serious problems with your outlook on life and stuff like that. You're just going to do what you do as a person.
That's a pretty
No.
powerful attitude. I mean, because a lot of people don't deal with that way. I mean, you're always positive. I mean, you're always, whenever I see you, you're positive about it, and it's like you've accepted the facts. So now I just got to move on, and I got to do whatever I can to just live longer. I mean, it is.
Yeah, not necessarily to live longer, but to take the days and months and years that I have left to take the best advantage of them.
Right.
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 So that whole idea of marching on and kind of ignoring it and have it all in the background, that's changed. With this recurrence and the second surgery and going through the chemotherapy, I'm out of options.
Okay.
I've had a lifetime supply of radiation therapy. I've had a lifetime supply of chemotherapy.
Oh, you can't have any more?
I can't have any more. You want to hear a fun fact?
What? Yeah, because
You want to know one of the side effects of chemotherapy for brain cancer is?
What?
Cancer. Other forms of cancer in your
Oh,
body.
other forms of
Yeah,
it can develop because it beats your body up.
It screws with your DNA and your genes and stuff like that. And one of the main ones is leukemia. That it screws with your bone marrow and stuff like that. And when we're trying to make that decision back in 2010 to go on chemotherapy, he's like, well, telling me about these side effects, you have to sign these legal documents saying that they explained this to you. And I'm like, well, I don't like the side effects that are listed on a bottle of aspirin.
Yeah.
Right? That, it might, cause constipation, it's going to cause, earwax and blah, blah, blah. I usually don't take any pills because of that.
Right.
Unless I really, really need to, and I'm going to see the effects right away, I don't take any types of medications, over the counter or prescription.
Okay.
So he's telling me all this, that this chemotherapy is likely to cause these things as the years go on. Okay. So what do you do? And so I'm like, well, what are my options then? He's like, well, and it's the same thing with the radiation therapy. Will after a while, it would just start burning the surrounding brain tissue.
Right.
And screwing up, other functions in your body. So back to the whole concept of there's no more options today. And what they said back then was that, by time the 7 or 10 or 15 years that kind of stuff happens, we'll have we'll have the cure for the brain cancer, and we'll also have cure for the cancer that the treatment caused.
Right. Well, that's like, and you don't even want to think about that. But
Yeah.
that's big pharmacy. That's
Yeah.
That's a whole nother freaking discussion.
Oh my gosh. And you look at so where I'm sitting today, the conventional treatments from big pharmacy and big medicine, I'm done with. That those are no longer options. So then you start looking into the natural options. The doctor won't say anything about that. He says, Ed, if you think it'll work, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Just tell me what you're doing. There's no studies. One of the big ones.
As in natural, like, what do you, where you go?
There's the marijuana.
That would
personal reports of people saying that they've taken
that it actually helps.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And by helps, that means with not only the symptoms but of the halting of the progression, right? But nobody will do clinical trials on it,
right?
Because there's no money in it.
Yeah. Because what's chemo like about?
Right.
What's chemo every week is about? What was the freaking hospital bill?
The surgeries were up north of $100,000 each. And I only have a 20% copay, so hey.
Wait, not an 80. You only have to pay 20.
20%.
Yeah, so a lousy 20 grand, no
Yeah.
big deal. Okay.
But the chemotherapy was mostly covered, that I would just have to pay the copay for a prescription on it, which I think was $60. But the price that the insurance company was paying,
Yeah.
for the first kind of chemotherapy I was on was $6,000 a month, and then the second type of chemotherapy that I just finished up was $9,000 a month.
For 7 months.
For 7 months, yeah. And I had to pay a $60 copay every month. So that's I'm and I don't know. I try, because that that'll just rev my engine about how much bullshit that is, and the um, the other aspect of that is where the pharmaceutical companies get their money from for R&D research, taxes.
From taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're paying for your own chemo. I don't mean to laugh about that, but sorry. But
Yeah,
that's the
it's,
sad thing, right? Of our freaking society. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. That so there's and then there's so many supplements out there. There's diets and so forth, but the money for the cancer research goes to the pharmaceutical companies, and now the biotech companies, which are looking at the DNA type immunotherapy, I think they call it,
Yeah.
where they actually try to take your white blood cells, which fight disease, and modify them to kill the cancer cells.
yeah, okay.
I don't know. So that's where all the money's going. And anything that the pharmaceutical companies or these biotech companies aren't going to make money off of, they're not interested in doing that. But they still get the money from our taxes.
Well,
And the other problem is that brain cancer is not popular.
as a disease to fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breast cancer.
Colon
all the-
cancer.
Yep.
Lung gets a lot of
cancer.
advertisement because especially since the majority of lung cancer is because you abused your body smoking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's the majority of it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's not somebody just walking along and saying, oh, I lived a great life. Some people that happens to, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the government feeds that, right? Because they're taking money from big tobacco
Yeah.
and saying, well, yeah, but look what we're doing. We're trying to help you out.
Yeah. Thank you. Why don't you force people to stop selling
So
cigarettes?
you're maxed out. You're maxed out with drugs to fight it.
Yes.
Your body. You
Yeah.
have taken a lifetime. You can't take any more.
Yep.
So have you? I mean, and I know because brain cancer is different than other cancers though too. Because some people go, well, they try alternative. They go to, Mexico or Germany or somebody that's trying different kind of freaking advances. I mean, I don't know. I have not heard. Is there advances for brain cancer or?
There's there's certain things that come up in the lab environment.
Yeah.
One of the interesting ones was the Zika virus.
Yeah.
Do you remember all that and the babies with the big heads?
Yeah.
Right. And what some very bright scientists said to themselves, well, hey, and this kind of gets technical, that one of the problems with getting chemotherapy into the brain is that the brain is very protective of what gets in. That's a natural defense mechanism that if you get sick, if you get a cold or something like that, that virus isn't getting into your brain.
Right. The brain blocks. Yeah.
Right, there's a blood-brain barrier, it's called. And, some scientists, when they were investigating the Zika, was like, hey, no, wait a minute here. This Zika virus got through the blood-brain barrier, and then what was happening with the kids is it was stunting it wasn't the big head, it was the little head. It was stunting their brain growth. And that's what they want to do for adult brain cancer patients, is they want to stop the reproduction of cells in your brain.
Yeah. Anything that's reproducing is bad.
Yeah. And then there was the same type of thing that happened with polio, that there are some lab trials where the polio virus was breaking the barrier, and then what these biotech companies want to do then is attach the chemotherapy to a cell of the Zika virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and inject it into your body and have it go deliver it to your brain for you. So know that when I was diagnosed in 2010, they said that hopefully they're going to have a cure for it. By time I had to start worrying about these other cancers, and there's been nothing really promising. You know, I'm no expert on that subject.
Yeah.
I don't spend all my time, you know, I know some cancer patients do, researching that type of thing, but it just gets you, I guess for me personally, that doesn't motivate me, that doesn't make me feel better thinking that people are working on this.
Right. Well, where are you mentally? Like, where are you now, though, as far as, like, did you say you're not working right now?
Yeah, I'm on.
You're done, right?
I'm on total disability.
Okay. And, like, can you, I don't want to say anything wrong, but can you, like, go and, wow, you're thinking about 2 years down the road? Or is it usually just you're thinking about right now?
The whole, so where I'm sitting right now, and that's, you know, a big part of the thing that I wanted to talk about is this whole thing with, at my age, 50 years old, and after the second recurrence, the life expectancy is more, you know, better defined, right?
Okay.
And it's a shorter time frame, and you know, kind of what it's looking like right now is I'm probably not going to make it to retirement.
Okay.
Right? So,
Okay.
they're going to give me disability, and it's the Social Security, the federal disability. It's more about a compassionate approval. You don't, if you just get the diagnosis from your doctor that you have this type of brain cancer, you're automatically, you hear people on disability saying that they fought for months and months and months, 2 days, sent over the paperwork, I got an approval letter 2 days later.
Right.
They don't question it. It's, you know, having you, being dropped into this situation, you know, that's kind of weird. That I'm 50 years old. I had fully expected that I'd be working until I'm 70.
Right.
You know, and even from a financial standpoint with my savings and stuff like that, my whole life I think I'm going to be working the 70s, so I don't have to worry about saving right now.
Right.
So there's definitely not enough savings there, and that's the savings isn't for me.
Right. It's for
Right. The savings is for you know, for my family, and so you know, so that's kind of a, you know, should I go back to work because we don't have enough savings, right? But where I'm sitting right now is that I deserve a retirement.
Yeah.
I worked quite near 60 hours a week for 20 plus years, 25 years. And if you want to go before I got my first full-time job, I was going to school going to school full-time in engineering school, and I had a part-time job, which I was working 20 or 30 hours a week.
Right.
You know? You know, people look forward to their retirement and sitting back and relaxing and
Right, and doing something else.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I won't have that.
Right. Right.
So this is it.
So this is it, right?
This is my, you know, that's where I'm sitting right now in my head. Is I feel that I'm due a retirement, and you know, if I could swing it financially, you know, that's
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Well, what about okay, now with that thought, is there anything that you want to try? Like you're going to be in retirement. Like some people are in retirement are going, okay, well, I'm going to start doing photography. I'm going to start, you know, doing something that they enjoy. Oh, butterfly collecting.
I'd love to do that, but I can't catch them.
Wait a minute. Oh, there it is.
Give me a butterfly net. That's a great idea, Dave. I'm gonna pull out my phone and get on eBay.
Yeah, you know. So no, I mean, is there something that you want to do?
Something that that I'd like to do. you know,
If you could, what would you like to do?
So unfortunately,
Yeah.
that it's not only my profession, but it's my passion. Is the technology and working on computers,
Right.
writing software programs, optimizing things. I like to do. You know, people
Right.
think that's kind of weird, but
No.
I like to do that.
Right.
Right. So, but unfortunately, it hurts me.
It hurts you to
As I was,
concentrate
yeah,
like that
as
level.
I was saying in the beginning of the our little show here, that you know, if I do that for more than an hour, I get that my world closes on me and I'm out.
What if you had to do the work, or if it's communicating?
It's
If you
the-
just had to work on something, is that because your brain's cranking?
yeah. So
Okay.
we had some technical problems
Before we got hooking up
going to the
tonight?
show. It almost happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that I could feel part of it in, you know, part of my head up here. It was close. That
Was it? It just starts blocking out.
No, it just like I tried to explain it before.
Right,
Your understanding of the world starts, and you know, all your knowledge and all your experience that you could draw on when you're living, right?
Right.
You know, in any event that you take, any action that you take, you're always drawing on all this knowledge and experience that you have in your head, and my ability to get to that goes away.
Okay. Well, say you can't do that, but is there some place, if you could, that you'd like to go? You're retired. Put it that way. Look at it that way,
Yeah,
right?
so
Or is there some place that you go,
yeah,
wow, I would have always liked to go there?
So then you get you get into the problem of the time and money,
Yes.
right? So when I was back in working full time, you know, making all sorts of money and spending it all over the place because we really didn't have the time to go anywhere.
Oh
right?
yeah, we all,
Right?
yeah, everybody does that, right? We
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We got plenty of
Years and
time.
years would go by in my career where I would cash out my vacation pay.
Right.
We were too busy at work. I'm, one of the key guys at work. I can't leave,
Right.
And now, plenty of time on my hands. No money. That my salary's gone. Living on disability. That's there's not enough money to be buying plane tickets to California and even over to Europe and stuff like that.
Right.
That's part A of the problem. Part B is that I lost my health insurance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're on you get disability, but you don't get no state insurance even?
No, you can go to that Obamacare. Don't freak out on me. Don't freak out on me, Dave.
No, we won't talk politics. We won't talk politics.
And I was on Obamacare for a little bit, and it did treat me well. And on the Social Security disability, you have to be on disability for a year before you get Medicaid. 2 years. 2 years.
Okay.
So this coming November, so there's one more year, and they'll put me on Medicaid. But what about my family?
Well, the government says you got 2 years of financial hell, and then we might accept you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And the first 6 months is the worst because you don't get anything for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't get any support. Luckily, I had a policy through my work that supported me through that time.
Oh,
Yeah.
long-term disability or something?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, short-term?
Short-term disability, and that went on for 6 months, which coincidentally, these HR people lined up with 6 months of the 6 months waiting period for Social Security disability.
Right.
So that situation for me will be solved in a year and come up next November. They'll put me on Medicaid, but then what about the wife and kids?
Right.
Right? So my lovely and dedicated wife who's pretty much a stay-at-home mom. She'd have, part-time jobs here and
Right.
there to make extra money,
Right.
but, didn't have to worry about, I brought home the bacon. She would just worry about spending money, so I didn't get mad when she went out and got a haircut, right? For $100 and some dollars. So now she had to go get a full-time job that has benefits.
Yeah.
She can't go on vacation with me,
Yeah.
right? So no money, no company.
Well, okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't mean it that way. Yeah. You definitely know. I mean,
Right.
But if
so,
you,
sure, there's I'd love. I've never been to California. I'm more of a nature guy than a big city guy.
yeah, maybe up in the north and
yeah.
Northern California, Napa and the
Go to
redwoods.
Oregon and stuff. Oh, that would just be awesome. And
Mhm.
for me and at least my son to go up, doing hiking and
Oh.
stuff like that up there. That's, that would be the ultimate. If I could do anything, that's, probably what I would do. There's some historical sites in Rome and Italy and stuff like that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I'd probably like to go see. That it just amazes me what mankind did before the mechanized age.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Roman Colosseum, the Roman Colosseum with the pits and everything, and they had the cranks and
Yeah.
let the tigers up.
The Sistine Chapel,
Yeah,
with no
with
cranes.
no specialized scaffolding.
Yeah.
Back then it was all just, I don't know, it had to be rickety. It had to be. And you just climb up there every day and you
It's
paint,
crazy.
right?
It's crazy. But yeah, that's tough, and it's like, so okay, so then you got a decision, right?
Yeah.
Do I try to go back to work, right? So that my wife doesn't have to have this full-time job with benefits. It would raise that burden off of her, and and then I would actually use my vacation time
Yeah.
out of my new job and go and do these things that I would then have company and money.
Right. I hear you.
I've done a lot of thinking about this, and the problem is my family needs to be self-sufficient, because it's eventually going to happen where I'm not going to be there to do that,
Correct.
right?
Right.
And it could happen at any time.
Yeah. Right.
It could happen next month, and I might get into that, or it could happen a couple years down the road. But either way, you're going to have to learn to do without. So, putting my family through this, I feel horrible about it, but it's for their own good, right?
Oh, right. I hear what
think
you're
that's
saying.
a pretty harsh way to say that, but gee, and I've tried to, structure all my finances. I actually took all my savings and put them in high risk, I shouldn't say high risk, but medium risk mutual funds.
Right. A little more
Because-
aggressive.
Yeah, because I need to, I need more. I don't need the money now, but I need more money.
Right.
I can't. Usually people, as you get closer to retirement, you take your money and you put it into low risk investments to make sure it doesn't get blown.
Right.
Right now, we don't have enough money.
Right. You want
Well,
yeah.
I should say my family doesn't have enough money to make it to their retirement.
Right.
Right.
So to maximize it.
So that's that whole idea of being on disability, and I don't want anybody looking at me with envy about, oh, he was able to retire when he's 50. Oh,
For all the wrong reasons, yeah.
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 This is a heart-wrenching time in my life because of that.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah. Put aside my prognosis and the health problems that I have, the effect that this has on my family is
A mental drain.
that's putting it lightly. That calling it a drain, it's more like torture, right?
Right.
And there's very little I can do about it. I'm as a professional, was always very proactive. I don't like to fail. I would always have plans. I'd have contingency plans. I'd do risk assessment to, make sure that everything went smooth, because I don't like sitting there with pie on my face. There's always, plans and the contingency plans that if something goes wrong, and you
Right.
use your risk management to determine, what to make the plan that's going to solve the most likely problem and stuff like that. There's nothing I could do.
Right.
I got my tires in the mud.
It's pretty, yeah, but I'm just always impressed I am impressed how you handle it, because, I mean, we don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would handle it like that. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
And then you're in a totally different situation. But it's been awesome. Good discussion. Thank you for being so honest. If anybody, I see we have a few people out there watching this.
No comments though, huh?
No comments? I don't see any comments, do I? No. I don't. No. Welcome to the chat room. It's wide open. But I appreciate Ed. Ed might be on some future ones too, because I am going to be introducing two friends coming up in the next couple of weeks. Dave, Darren.
Yeah, I could also be funny.
And Ed can be funny too. Don't let him fool you. But it's really great. And then I'm going to end it like this, Ed. Is there anything you can you can end this? You can take the last minute and just say, I know this is hard. I appreciate that. But do you have any? If you can, besides, okay, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
a dream, a thought of the next of the future. Is that even fair to ask?
Yeah, and at this point, all I have is advice for other people and what they might do in their life differently. I guess I'm an example of what could happen, right?
Yeah, the unknown could just hit you, right?
I've lived a very healthy life, and this came and hit me. What I really, consider the prime of my life. That sure, I was in better shape when I was 30 years old and was able to run through a field and play frisbee, but all the experience that
Did your dog throw it for you?
No.
Well, do you and then
So-
do you push that concept? I mean, to the kids, to make sure to try to ask them to carry that, like, hey, realize. I mean, that's what my theme at the end of everything, every video I make,
Yeah.
not podcast, but every video, I always say it's one life, it's your choice.
Yeah,
And like what you just said, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, right. And and I'm afraid. I totally agree with that concept. And it seems that again, I'm a pragmatic person, and that's what I'm teaching my kids. That,
Right.
Here's the work ethic. Here's the whole aspect of honesty in your life and trustworthiness and working hard and stuff like that. And I seem to spend most of my fatherly advice with that.
Okay.
Right. The living life free and chasing your goals and actually doing something concrete to make yourself feel better and stuff like that. I think that I don't vocalize that to my family, but I live it, teach it by example. That I get sick a lot and I'm sleeping a lot, but that's probably only 10% of the 15% of the time. The rest of the time, I'm an upbeat person, and I'm not gonna start drinking. I'm not gonna start smoking pot every day to escape the real world.
Right.
You make and it's one thing that I don't understand about people and attitudes. That people can't seem to change their attitude. the gloom and dooms. What's that donkey from?
Eeyore.
Yeah, Eeyore.
From Pooh.
We're all doomed.
It's bad, Pooh.
And can people change their attitude like that? Because I've never been like that.
I think most people don't. Yeah, that's a whole nother. There's another podcast. We could bring Ed back because that's a whole thing I always have too. Is I don't think people change. You know what I mean? Excuse me, but if you're an ass, you're an ass.
Yeah.
Right? If you're an ass and you're poor and now you got $10 million, you're probably still gonna be an idiot. I don't know if people change or not, but your perspective, it's a whole different perspective because you know where you are and you've accepted it. So it's a whole.
Yeah.
No one can sit there and go, "I understand," because I can't say that. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
So.
And that's kind of one of the things that I would like to bring up, and it's not inspirational. That in talking with people in my condition, I generally don't bring it up. That if I'm in a crowd where people don't know about my condition, I am not going to bring that up.
Right. You don't go, hey. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
Yeah. I just had an MRI, and because that would be a topic of discussion. I just had an MRI, and it was clean, no progression. I'm happy, right?
Right.
No,
it doesn't come up.
And there's only a few people that I could talk to about it, because and why I don't talk to the 10 million other people out there. This is a good forum for talking about it because no one could talk back.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not a little window on the computer over here of someone saying, and what happens when you bring it up is the one-uppers. Oh, I got a better one. My aunt's cat had cancer, and she got this lump coming out of the side of her throat that was 5 pounds, and then she died 4 months later. Okay. I just brought up my MRI and how it was clean, and that was an uplifting story or topic of conversation, and now you just drove it into the ground with these one-uppers, I call them, that and the parallel stories, and literally people have brought up their neighbor's dog.
We get, that's.
Please. Just listen. That if you
Yeah, so it's a slight difference here, okay? Hope Fido's okay, but but then maybe that's why you should come back too. We should do another podcast because I'll bet you're right now in your point of view. I was thinking about this the other day. How many people really say what's on their mind? Really say. When someone says something to you, you go, "Yeah, I don't think so." We don't. we usually just go, "Uh-huh. Oh yes," instead of going, "Nah, you're full of shit." I mean, that would be a cool discussion because I wonder, like, you might be at that point.
Yeah.
Where if somebody gave you some crap, like you said, I don't give a shit about your dog. I'm sitting here with this little brain issue, and I don't care. I don't mean this wrong, but I don't care about your dog. That's your true feeling.
Yeah.
So maybe we can do something like that.
That was really rude of you to bring that up about your aunt's neighbor's dog.
Okay. I mean, because we've been going for quite a while, man. We are gonna we're gonna sign off, man.
Okay.
We're gonna sign off. Ed, thank you for doing this, man. It's
for
tough,
having
man.
me.
I appreciate it, and Ed will probably be back. I may, because when you meet these other two guys, I'll need Ed to help me out. So when you meet during the day, so. But thank you, and have a great night. Have a great week.